Have you noticed how two people can start with the exact same skills and opportunities, yet end up with completely different lives? We are conditioned to look outward for the explanation. We assume the difference comes down to a lack of raw talent, missing out on the right financial backing, or just plain bad luck. The true barrier to progress is internal, the unconscious story we tell ourselves about who we are. Every day, millions of people wake up and repeat the same silent script. They think, "I'm not smart enough," or "I'm bad with people." Over time, those passing thoughts harden into rigid facts. They become an identity. Because these internal beliefs are rarely questioned, they create an invisible mental prison that keeps potential locked away for a lifetime. Psychologists call this internal blueprint your self-image. It is a mental picture you carry of yourself at all times, dictating exactly what you believe you are capable of achieving. Think of your self-image like an internal thermostat regulating your reality. If your internal dial is set to average, any extraordinary success registers as an error. Your unconscious mind triggers an automatic response to sabotage the outcome and return you to your familiar baseline. This explains why someone who secretly feels unworthy of wealth will quickly lose a financial windfall, or why someone who feels unattractive will deflect genuine compliments with deep insecurity. Your external circumstances will always eventually adjust to reflect your internal self-image. In the early 1950s, the medical and athletic establishment agreed that running a mile in under 4 minutes was biologically impossible. The world believed the human body would simply collapse under the strain. Then, in 1954, Roger Bannister crossed the finish line at 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds, proving the experts wrong. What happened next is telling. Within months, multiple other runners achieved the exact same feat, and soon, breaking the 4-minute mile became standard for elite athletes. Human biology did not evolve overnight. The physical mechanics of the runners remained exactly the same. The only thing that changed was their belief in what was possible. The limits governing our daily lives are rarely physical. More often than not, they are psychological boundaries we have blindly accepted. Psychologists refer to this filtering process as selective attention. It is the same phenomenon that happens when you buy a new car and suddenly start seeing that exact model everywhere on the highway. This diagram shows the biological mechanics at play. Your brain operates as a verification engine, scanning the world to find evidence that proves your existing beliefs right. If you believe people dislike you, your brain filters out the positive interactions and locks on to any hint of rejection. This biological filtering process forces people to retreat into comfort zones. To stay emotionally safe, they avoid difficult conversations, postpone their goals, and refuse to take risks. The fatal flaw in this strategy is that avoiding uncertainty guarantees a complete lack of growth. And your brain then uses that exact lack of progress as fresh evidence that your original negative belief was correct all along. It creates a closed loop. Your belief filters your perception, that perception forces you into inaction, and that inaction reinforces the negative belief. Overcoming this loop requires an architectural rule of success. Every achievement is created twice, first as a mental draft, then as physical reality. Elite athletes leverage this rule constantly. They meticulously visualize the mechanics of their performance and mentally rehearse victory long before ever stepping onto the field. Repeatedly visualizing that success trains your nervous system to accept a new baseline, bridging the gap between an abstract thought and a physical action. You can actively reprogram your brain's search engine to find opportunities instead of obstacles, simply by upgrading the quality of the questions you ask yourself when faced with adversity. The core rule of transformation is that identity comes first. You must adopt the habits and self-view of a successful person before the results can manifest. In the physical building phase, failure must be entirely redefined. When Thomas Edison tested thousands of unsuccessful filaments, he didn't view it as an indictment of his identity. He treated every failure as neutral data. This flowchart shows the active reinvention formula. You identify your limiting beliefs, actively challenge them with logic, and consciously create empowering replacements. Acting consistently and repeating this process provides literal neurological conditioning, rewiring your brain to operate on a new set of instructions. Because your brain is highly malleable, the person you were yesterday does not restrict who you can be tomorrow. Your past struggles have zero statistical bearing on your future potential. The world only responds to the person you believe you are. Change that internal story, and you change your life.